Baruchim habayim ladikduk dakot. This grammar video is about the components of the Hebrew verb. As you know, the Hebrew verb is composed of several components, and today we're representing those components with a tree. Each of the components of the Hebrew verb communicates something essential about the verb. The first component is the Schorsch, or the root, represented by the root of the tree. And as you know, the Schorsch is composed of 3 Hebrew consonants. The Schorsch is not actually a word. It doesn't have any vocal patterns. It only contains the 3 consonants. But the meaning is carried in the Schorsch. The basic meaning of the word is carried in these 3 root consonants. The next part of the tree, the trunk or the stem, the binyan, is identified by various vocal and visual stem signs. These 5 stems are the stems that we will be covering this semester because they are the most common. There are several more, but we'll be focusing on these. The information that we get from the binyan is twofold. First of all, we get the voice of the verbal action. So we find out if the verb is active or passive or perhaps reflective. We also learn something about the type of action. The action might be simple or intensive or causative. That's the information that we get from the binyan. The next component is represented by these various branches, and it is the form or the mean of the verb. And we have learned all of these mean in the past semester, and so these will be very familiar to you. And as you know, you identify these mean by their specific vocal pattern and also by the affix, prefix complement, and other things that might be added to the verb. The information that we get from the mean is, first of all, the relationship between the action and its unfolding. As you know, the Hebrew verbal system does not deal with time in the same way that we do in English. So the relationship between the action and the unfolding means, is this action completed or is this action incompleted? It also can represent subjunctive or an imperative. But the relationship between the action and the unfolding is the technical meaning that we get from the mean. In English, we will have to put these into a linear timeline of past, present, and future, etc. The last component we have called other because it involves several different things that sometimes come to rest in the tree. So these other things are not always there. The Schorsch, the binyan, and the mean will be present in every verb. But sometimes we also have a conjunction or a suffix on any of these mean. And sometimes there can be a definite article on a participle or a preposition on an infinitive construct. You can see by looking at the tree how much information we gain from the Hebrew verb and how each of these components has specific ways of identifying it. So that is the composition of the Hebrew verb. Lech l'shalom.